So I watched Asmon's reaction to this earlier.
Leftists are going for Jake Lang's head at the anti-Islam protest, violently whacking and assaulting him, trying to cause serious injury. Minneapolis police are doing absolutely nothing. So this happened yesterday. Here we go. Did you cover the dude being dragged into the peaceful protesters? Yeah, I'm going to talk about it now. I just didn't really have time for it, but we're going to look at it now. He was stabbed. Yeah, he was stabbed. And you see, this is the guy, right?
I was hoping it would save the point of what I actually wanted to say, what I wanted to talk about, because there is a point of this. He starts to talk about no matter how radical and how much of an agitator this guy is. I don't even know his name. I don't even remember. No matter how radical he is, we can't revert to these third world country tactics, because if you don't look at any American flag, if you don't see any American flag anywhere, you wouldn't know if this was America or not. Matter of fact, you don't see American flags, you see F Trump flag. That's a Canadian maple leaf. That's whatever that is.
And this is what
You don't see American flags anywhere. And this is what I meant by we can't revert to these third world country tactics of essentially trying to that's not an American flag. That's not like none of the you wouldn't tell that this was the United States of America. If you didn't see this, you wouldn't be able to tell it's the United States of America. You would think it's some random third world country where they're protesting the government or whatever. But then you dive deep into it and you're like, okay, so this guy went down and agitated them, and instead of them just being like, okay, whatever, we're still going to protest what we're protesting and just let this guy do what he does, we're going to attack him, mob him, essentially make it like what I said the other day, where if he was to pull out a gun and start shooting people, he would not be charged. And it would be hard for even me to want to file charges against him and convict him of charges when this is what he's getting. It's the same. Remember, Kyle Rittenhouse. Everybody should like when we do this stuff, we need to start remembering things that happened in the past, because again, these protesters, this mob, was lucky he wasn't carrying a firearm, because he would have perfectly been justified in using it. Being attacked, being smacked over the head by stuff, the mob saying, kill him. Like you can literally hear them say, kill him, multiple times. As they're yanking on him and smacking him with stuff. So regardless of him being being an agitator, we can't revert to these third world country tactics, and we can't now remember what I was wanting to talk about. The Asman, he was kind of getting up to, but he didn't actually follow through with it. It didn't come out. And it's also what kind of irritates me against it's a little bit of agitation with guys like Valhalla VFT, is because they take their stance in the middle, and then they are mad that people are reactive to the things that are around them instead of pointing out the things that are causing that reaction. And he does to a point, but he still goes right back to kind of attacking the people who were they're mindless drones being set on a warpath by an overlord. It's exactly what it is. And so when you have things like this, yes, these people are just as guilty, but they're also allowing themselves to be allowing their emotions to be weaponized and then pointed in a direction. And it's not just these people that are doing it. They're like sleeper cell agents that have been, I mean, I've watched tons of videos. I'm not an expert in it, but from what I've gathered from this one guy talking about it, is that it's very easy to radicalize somebody. You constantly, consistently, and over and over and over again expose them to the things that they believe in, they hold the most value and truth to. You keep exposing them to the injustice of their values and their moral code. You keep exposing them to that, and then it radicalizes them, and then all of a sudden they're trying to find the nearest fascist, Nazi, bigot, racist, misogynist, whatever the terms that have been used over the course of the years, mainly the last decade, to get people to become overly radicalized against one another. And it's not people doing it to themselves. It constantly comes up. It does. The first time I ever heard of the word psyop was in 2000, the early 2000s, when 9/11 happened. The first time I ever heard of the word psyop was around 9/11. And that's when I started to kind of look into what really happened. Like, how is it that we were supposed to be the strongest, most powerful, nobody can infiltrate us country in the world, and we have people that are able to steal 2 or 4 airplanes and fly them into 3 targets. One crashed in Pennsylvania, which is the only one that was a movie was made out of. I'm pretty sure that Flight 93 was the only one that had a film made out of it. That was the one that crash landed in Pennsylvania. No other, none of the other 3 airplanes, almost positive, none of those 3 other flights had basically a blockbuster production made after. I mean, they may have realized that after the fact and say, oh, we need to get some more movies out involving these other planes. Otherwise, people are going to start wondering, like, wait a second, four airplanes were hijacked that day. Why is there only a single one? And the one that didn't even, and not to say that the people that died in Flight 93, not to say that their deaths were bad, but you have 3 other flights of people who had a lot less coverage, and thousands of people died in those crashes. Well, thousands of people died in 2 of them. The one that hit the Pentagon, I guess just the people on board the plane itself died. I guess they were able to see it coming, and the Pentagon was able to evacuate. Because I don't believe anybody died in the Pentagon crash, except for the people who were on the plane itself. And maybe some people who couldn't get out of the way of impact of the Pentagon. 9/11 is such a shrouded mystery. It will go down as one of the most infamous and mysterious events in American history for a while. And it's not just for people thinking, oh, that's because conspiracy theorists won't let it die. No, that's because it continues to make zero sense. Even some things are becoming declassified because NDAs are being lifted on stuff, and like it's becoming it's built its own shroud of mystery. If 9/11 was to be believed like it was fed, it wouldn't have had such a shroud of mystery. But from the right out of the gate, it was like, wait a second, there's something not right here. It was instantly Charlie Kirk 30-06 to the neck instantly. Like, no way. No way. Anybody has ever fired a high caliber weapon can tell you, no way. High caliber weapons are meant to basically explode things, make it look like you just packed it full of explosives. They're devastation weapons, or they're taking down something big, huge, massive, like shooting. Like, unless Charlie Kirk was the size of a black bear or a grizzly bear or something big, it's no way. No way it would have done what it did. So again, I digress. We need to stop allowing our overlords. I mean, let's say what it is. They're overlords. They're our overlords. They're buy this, hush hush, buy this. Don't look that direction. Don't go over there. Please stop saying that. Please believe me when I tell you I'm not stealing from you, but I'm actually stealing from you. The people that are inciting this aren't actually out here in this. They're sitting in an office devising a plan for the next one of these. So we need to not allow ourselves to revert to a third world mentality. And all the people that are dying, it's not tons. We've had some avoidable deaths happen recently. And while, yes, I have said people are putting themselves in those situations, and that's because that people are allowing people who care nothing about them to put them in a situation that, if they thought for just one moment that if that person that's saying you gotta fight for your right for illegal immigration, if you actually think that those people are going to come out here and stand in these mobs and be the ones that are, no, they're not. That's why they're sitting in an office pretending like they're working. We're trying to fight the good fight in legislatures. That's why they are doing what they're doing. They're hiding away in their little cubby holes, trading their stocks, figuring out how they can inflate prices while somehow make it look like prices are coming down. Because again, I will say it and continue to say it. Groceries costing less is great. Fuel for vehicles to get around to do the groceries, that's great. But don't tell me prices are coming down when some of the things that directly impact people's ability to be in their homes isn't coming down. Because the last time I checked, I'm not able to go to the store, spend $10 on the newly lowered prices of groceries, take that over to my rental office and say, hey, I know I can't pay all of my rent this month, but can I use this as the rest of it? And then hand them the newly lowered price in groceries. Like, look, remember, these cost a lot less now. Like, we can't, that's not possible. It doesn't work that way. Which is why it really, it kind of irritates me, but it also makes me laugh too, because it's like, okay, hopefully maybe one day people will figure out that it's not just the grocery prices and the gas prices, it's also the cost of how much it costs to live in your home, whether you're renting or buying, or you remortgaged your house just so you can build a big giant party garage. It's being made to where you won't be able to do that comfortably. And when you do, just say, you know what, I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to do it and worry about it later. The worry that comes later is like, oh my God, like it's done, but holy, like everything's inflated now. Like the upkeep on this thing is going to be, it's not worth even the upkeep. So people will start letting their things go dilapidated because the upkeep on the stuff is just insane. They may do it and get it done, but what's the point of keeping going with the same thing when it's just going to go out of your grasp anyways? And yes, in the world of stuff, things got to become harder to attain because it's the naturalistic order of things. But when it becomes impossible to attain for most, or near impossible to attain for most, what are we actually doing? We can't call that progress. We really can't call that progress. So again, we can't let ourselves be directed into a third world mentality by these people who otherwise are just trying to distract us from all the criminality, distract us from all the PDF filing. They're literally, it's like their whole job is to just to sit and distract us from what they're doing to make sure that they keep themselves in power, not stay in power because they're very good at what they do. They're very, very, very good at what they do. No, they stay in power because it's what gets them richer and richer and richer. Do you think they really care about even their children? No, they don't. They say they do. They buy their kids gifts and take them to this and do that. But when it comes down to it, at the end of their days, they were like, yeah, I screwed all this up, but I ain't got to worry about it now. Peace out, bitches. And then they die. While the rest of us are like destroyed by the aspect of us not doing enough while we're alive. Like the inability to be somebody that is overwhelmingly giving, not tangibly, but giving as in like how my theory, or not really, it's not really a theory, it's just my idea of how all of this works. Like the reason the yin and the yang are very important for certain cultures is because it's the light and the dark, and it's just, some cultures do believe in it that way, the light and the dark. You have an equal amount of both, and you're a part of the purpose in your life is to build up your light to pass on. And one of the reasons our bodies break down because of that is because of how much energy we take in, how much energy we pass through, how much energy flows through our systems, and we send it out, whether it's dark or light. I mean, you can kind of tell people who've done, you can see it on a lot of people's face who've been evil for a long, long time. They just look like goblins and ghouls and ogres and like, they don't look like very savory people. If they were soup, they would be the soup from Adam's Family, like the shit that moves and is gross, and it doesn't look edible. That's what these people are. There's a goofy movie too. The witches or something like that. They turn kids into mice. They peel off their human skin and they're all ugly and nasty looking. That's what these politicians are. And they're like all these things in all these stories. They like to pretend like they're the heroes and the martyrs and the Jesus Christs. But when it comes down to it, no, they're the ghouls, the goblins, the unsavory characters. They're the stuff that the heroes are fighting. But then they have you all doing this for them. You're their army out here fighting each other, whether you think you're good, you think they're wrong, it's irrelevant. You're all being pushed from one goblin over here to fight this army of other goblins. It's like you all are being pushed into this stuff, and it's sad. It's sad to watch society just completely lose its mind, stemming from things that we ask for. And that's why I will always say the politicians are pushing it because it's funded by the Soros playbook. Certain influences aren't taking hold anymore. They're losing ground. So create a distraction to get people fighting the adversaries. Again, it's leave his pro-ICE, anti-Islam rally, and like I said, this is what it is. This is all religious stuff. This is religious fighting. These religions are all the same, just different stories taking place in different times of existence. One arguing about who's the most right over somebody else who they think is the most wrong. These religions are part of the problem. You are also letting yourself be radicalized by them. And Christians can say they're not radicalized. Then what do you call these people? I guarantee you there's a lot of people in here that call themselves Christians. Guarantee you there's a lot of people that in here that aren't one singular religion. Guarantee you there are so many mixtures of religions within this group. They're all arguing about the same thing. This is what these religions and these politicians and these people who create a type of division. And if you think religion wasn't put in place to divide people, come on now. Come on now. Its whole thing is to get people to think their way. to take you from this mode of thinking to this mode of thinking. And then this religion over here is like, no, that mode of thinking's not right. You need to come over here and think this way. No, you're not right. That's all it is. It's all a way to compete with one another. It's not factual. None of it is factual. And I mean, when I say none is factual, I mean none of them are 100% fact. All of them have bits and pieces of stories that were told, that were embellished, because everybody who told stories back then didn't speak the way we speak now. So they spoke in some way, some storytelling ability way. That's how they spoke back in the day. They spoke in storytelling. And these, again, you're allowing religion mixing with politics, mixing with radical ideology. And that's all this is. Right wing, left wing, center wing, buffalo wing. They're all the friggin' same, and they're all gonna purposely put you against it. And if you're not gonna, the thing of it is the way they radicalize you is they use the psyop to find what radicalizes you. If you're not radicalized by this stuff, well, find something. I've kind of been watching it happen to my feeds and my algorithm. Because when I go and lay down in the bed, I do a fair bit of swiping. I do quite a bit of it. And in my algorithms, if I go over to X and just do the video swipes, if I stop for even a second on something like this, every video is a radicalization psyop video. It's like, right wing hates left wing this, left wing hates right wing this, everybody's fighting about this, war in Iran, stealing people from Venezuela, radical, 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 radical. It's literally all that. If you stop at one of these videos for even a blink, if they see you blink at that video, all right, we got him. All right, guys, we got him. It's literally how it is. They go right into feeding that radicalization. Because that's how they see it. This is the psyop. If they get you feeding into it and radicalized by it, then they can maybe get you to go out. If they can get you to go out for free, then great. If you're like a person who has some influence and can lead a bunch of other people out there, they want to pay you. They will pay you. That's the thing. The influencer, we're in the age of the influencer. If you can get thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people coming and flocking to one direction, if you yourself can do that, we'll pay you to. You don't even need to change your message. You just need to slip these things in there, play the psyop game for us, and we'll get them. We'll get them all. This is the form of control. And what I was talking about yesterday and a couple days ago, it falls right in line with it. They will purposely radicalize you so that they can do whatever they want. If they feel like they're losing control of the people in this country, there is a certain level of collateral damage that they're willing to accept to get control back. And if you think the January 6th protesters going to jail is one of them, no, it's a little more unknowingly subtle than that. A lot of it you won't see coming. You'll see a terror attack or someone actually has an incursion force that gets on the soil. I mean, me personally, I said it a couple days ago. That's what I see. I see when the civil unrest it keeps going unchecked and unchecked and unchecked, because eventually American citizens, they'll lose their steam and they'll stop en masse arguing and fighting. So it'll go on for a while, but eventually these people have no endurance, especially when the money that's being fed into it starts to not dry up, but starts to accumulate to a point where it's like, all right, we're not really gaining any ground, and all the stupid idiots that we've hired for this they're so weak they can't even gain ground. So we're gonna start trickling out the money. We're gonna just let it slowly dry up, and then eventually we just leave it as is. Because the people that are otherwise being paid for it, they're just gonna start fading into the background, because they're all the influencers and the people that are getting all the masses of people following behind them. They're just gonna start fading into the background. And yes, they can do it while having massive followings. They just make some goofy excuse of why they had to step away, or they'll bring their family to one of them and allow their family to be the collateral damage for it. I say these things not just as a jest, because it kind of is a jest. Like, you're allowing yourself to be turned into a person from a third world country. Can't tell if you're from a third world country or some other random country that's fighting for civil rights against government injustice. Because that's what these kind of massive protests are. You don't have like massive protests to protest the deportation of people who've otherwise invaded the country. You're protesting the sending them home. No, you're making them disappear. No, they're going to the rightful place they belong in. They belong in a prison where they can't commit these heinous crimes to people in the world, against people in the world. Like, the logic is so flawed in these protests, these anti-ICE protesters. I understand it. I do. Again, I understand it because I know they're being radicalized by people who otherwise just only look at them as cannon fodder. Do you think Ilhan Omar really cares about any one of you guys down there? No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. That's why she's not down there. She was. Yeah, being led through by a mob of security. These people are the ones inciting this. All these politicians are inciting this. Even the president. Could have just made the dudes disappear. Talking about, oh, I think it's time for a regime change. You had your chance. You could have deleted those guys a couple days ago, a few days ago, 5 days ago, a week ago. You could have made them a priority over Venezuela's oil. Well, it was the only chance we had. Maduro doesn't go to bed, man. He just doesn't go to sleep. We were able to put in a bunch of spies in his interior, but he just doesn't sleep, man. We just couldn't get there. It was only one time he went to bed. The guy doesn't go to bed. Again, the priorities are always always shifted in the wrong direction for a reason. There's a reason they went after Maduro in Venezuela over the obviously apparent regime change needs and in the Middle East. Like you made it seem so obvious there needed to be a regime change. Like now it's obvious. 5 days later, when the nobody people talking to a bunch of zero viewership people across the internet were foretelling this a week in advance, that like unless you respond swiftly, aka make him disappear, make them disappear, you could have embedded people over there. Some of the best snipers in the world. Those guys can't go 10 minutes without popping their head up out of their little hidey holes. Their favorite thing in the world is to address their people. You knew that the protests were getting intense. They were getting big. You could have sent some of the best wet work operators that we got over there. And even waited for him to try to take off to Russia. You could have even done that. Waited for the dude to try to beat feet to Russia. You already knew he was going to try to leave. That's like their thing. Run away. Let the people you command get killed for you, while the people that are trying to overthrow you are being killed by the people that are just blindly following you. They could have got him on his way to Russia. But again, they didn't do any of this stuff because they're more worried about corporate interests. Because again, what happened almost immediately upon taking down Maduro? ExxonMobil, all the fuel and oil tycoons come salivating in. Oh, thanks, Mr. President. I'm so glad you got our oil back for us, even though we were paid some type of money. Like, they went into business with the bad people. The bad people robbed them, and they're surprised about it. Oh my God, we went into business with some drug dealers, and the drug dealers did us dirty. It's what's insane about this whole thing, is that you can so plainly see where the interests actually are. And yes, for those that were saying Trump was only gonna feed into the corporate interests, you're right. I will be one of the first to say you're right about that. And unfortunately, that was what I was willing to take a gamble on. So now that it's been made apparent, now that we know, and it's like there's zero hiding it, like he's hiding, like, you can't tell me that it's only politicians that are PDF files. I mean, I can guarantee you the whole upper echelon of the corporate structure is probably the same PDF files. But you can't tell me that they're not. That's why they stay up there and they keep getting shuffled around from place to place to place. Like they ruin a company and they fail upward. Like the only people in the world I've ever seen fail so far upward. I'm not even going to make an analogy on what happens when I fail, because we see it in real time. We see what happens when I fail in real time. Like everything's great. No, it sucks. Ah! I crash. Crash and burn. This is the purpose of it. This is the purpose of what they do. They purposefully get us at each other's throats. Don't eat carpet, please. Can we not eat the carpet? I hear the what sounds like shredding carpet. Hold on. No, those sounds, man. I know those sounds. They sound like me shredding up the carpet. Like if this was my house, I wouldn't care. I literally wouldn't care. I'd let that dude rip up every bit of the carpet. I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't have like at this point, I would just not have carpet, but I would have massive rugs, area rugs all over the place. Where he wouldn't be able to actually dig at the corners of the walls because that's just them, that creature. They love to burrow and dig at places that they think they can dig into. So it would actually be hardwood floor, but there would just be massive rugs everywhere, or just 1,000 rugs per room. Just for that purpose. But that's how my house. That's if I was able to buy a house and do that. That's how it would be. It would be just that. I wouldn't care. Chew on the walls. Who cares? Oh my God, your rabbit's chewing the wall. Oh my God, mind your business. That's exactly what it'd be. Don't tell him his business. Let him do him. Like he knows when he needs to stop doing it. I tell him once, he stops, and he comes back. It's usually because he's being defiant. There's something that he like right now. I can tell you what his defiance is. It's either he wants some carrots, more banana, or he wants me to go and top off his hay with some alfalfa sprinkle. But I don't have much alfalfa. I don't have many alfalfa sprinkle handfuls left. So he's got to wait for the morning on that. That's part of breakfast. You got to wait. Stop letting yourself be activated. And going into it as well, we as I say we, I pretend like I'm part of the club. No, content creators. I'm a content creator, but big content creators. While yes, the commentary is fun, it's entertaining. We also need to realize that these people are also being activated. So commentate all you want. That's even a word. Don't care at this point. Just remember that these people, they're a hive mind right now. They're not thinking on their own rational thought patterns. Most of them don't have rational thoughts. That's my opinion. But they're being activated. They're all sleeper agents being activated to do this stuff. Some being paid by the Soros playbook, some activated by their favorite U.S. senator who only knows hot button points. That's it. Those hot button talking points, that's all they know. If you ask them to give you try to have a real conversation with them about something meaningful, the deer in headlights, all of them. They only know what was written on the paper that somebody handed to them to read. That's it. These people don't know much of anything else. Because most of what they know is how to game the system. And it's not the same system we're working with. They have a different system that they have to game in order to keep us controlled. So when the big content creators get on and the commentary goes into just straight, essentially it's like more biased commentary than anything. Because while you say, yes, this is all bad, no matter what kind of agitator they are, blah, 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 also bring up why this is all happening to begin with. And I would say, I'm only using Asman as an example because he is very good at doing that. Like the way he does it is he'll say this is all bad and doing this is bad regardless of what kind of agitation this dude is doing. Mobbing him and saying kill him is bad. It's bad regardless. And if you don't see that, then you're part of this mob mentality problem. This easily incited to violence problem. And then he will go into the people who are being incited into this stuff are being done so by politicians, their favorite senators, and the people that they don't think would ever lie to them. Why would they lie to me? Why would they lie to me? They want men and women's sports and teaching children about transgenderism and allowing churches to control states. Figuring out how fast frogs in Africa bust a nut. We need billions of dollars for that research. Give it. Again, all this stuff has one singular agenda. It's a control factor using finance. Finance and essentially, like I said yesterday, we are a financially oppressive country. The civil rights aspect, the human rights aspect, that oppression has really slipped down to very small pieces. There are small places throughout the country that haven't gotten the memo that we've evolved from hating each other because of skin color and stuff like that to hating each other because you're poor, I'm not. I can buy stuff. Go starve to death. That's where we're at now. We're at the point where we laugh at poor people and we idolize filthy rich people. That's where our country is. Our country is in that. We're not an overly oppressive country. we're just a financially dependent and oppressive country. And essentially, that's what it is. We're so financially dependent on everything in this country that it's itself an oppression. And it's more or less a self-inflicted oppression. Because I mean, again, a lot of people don't like the idea of having to only work for someone else's gain. Then there are other people that I don't care. I'm able to go on vacation every year. Why do I care? I grind and grind and grind. I think I'm deserving. And both things can be true. It's okay to not want to work underneath somebody's thumb. It is really okay. It is also okay to be okay with working under somebody's thumb. It's you can, I mean, it's kind of hard to be both people, but it's okay for there to be both people. The world needs both types of people. We need people who want to take the less traveled routes. That's how we find we run into innovation, how we invent things, how we evolve. And the people who otherwise like to be under thumb, I mean, it's okay too. It really is. We can't look at each other as, well, you're so different. Maybe that's why I don't like you. No, you don't like each other because you're kind of envious of what each other represent. The person who only works and grinds and grinds and grinds thinks that that's what they have to do and need to do to be able to do what the other person is doing. Take the routes less traveled. And while you can say, while if you're on the other side, just taking the scenic route, you can say, well, I would not want to be on that side. No, there are times that you will see the other side and see the structure, see the organization, and you won't see the hard work and the stress and the sleeplessness in the same way that other side sees it, but you'll see pieces of the other side that will swell up a little bit of envy. It's human nature. It's human nature to see something and say, wow, that looks really fun and enjoyable. Structure doesn't look so bad. But to be structured, I have to essentially fit underneath somebody's thumb to be that, or fit into this little container or this aisle, or have to fit here. And it's why you continue to choose to be unstructured, if you will, is because the structure, while the structure does have its moment of you wanting to belong there, it's, you know, deep down inside that's not what you want to do. The underfoot, under thumb idea that you see isn't something that you really want to do. So again, the world needs both sides, but we don't need this. We don't need the mobbing of one another, incited by somebody who hopes that we kill each other enough to push an agenda forward. I mean, if we keep getting them to kill each other, we can push a lot of stuff forward, guys. So keep it going. We got to keep this stuff going and them fighting and arguing. Because if we don't, they might look in our direction. And if they look in our direction, they might see what we've been up to. And if they see what we've been up to, then we're gonna have to COVID 3.0. And we'll have to pull out the suitcase of natural disasters and give a good old college try on one of them. They create this division. They will continue to create it if we don't otherwise disallow it from happening. Yeah, because I mean it is just that. If we keep allowing ourselves to made more and more divided, that when we actually need to come together for something, we're not going to be able to. We won't be able to, and we will be completely ruled. I will rule you. We will be that. We will be the ruled. Because we're not ruled right now. Like, we've proved to our politicians that within the structure that they built for us, or that was built for us, we use it. We use it when we need to. And when it comes down to it, if we need to use the extent of it, we will. So, while it's entertaining, we need to remember that all these people and all this stuff is being incited by people that don't care. They do not care.
Jesus. Look at all this.
Hey, Jake, why'd you kiss the wall?
No American flags, by the way? Yeah. Yep, no American flags. Kill. You hear that? Yep. Where are the police? Great question.
And that's what I was saying. Is that you hear things like that. Kill him. Kill him. What I said the other day, when you hear things like that, it instantly should start triggering in your mind. If you're watching this now, if you're down there, you've already let yourself be pushed over the edge. So to think back to something like the Kyle Rittenhouse thing or something else like that, to be able to think back to that is already, you're already past that. It's already too late for that. Now, sitting and observing it, you got to keep in mind, while you might be like, yeah, get him, get him, get him, get him. Remember that in the situation of Kyle Rittenhouse, even though he was a 17-year-old kid illegally carrying a firearm, essentially, the fact that he was attacked by a mob of people who were essentially yelling the same things, he was not charged and was ultimately let off even after killing one of them. Again, we have to remember, and this isn't that long ago, folks, within a decade. You have to remember that this stuff, it reoccurs because we're allowing it to be continually pushed to reoccur. If we stop allowing the people that are pushing it, and you know who's pushing it, pushing it when you got a politician like Tim Walz popping up saying these overly radicalized things that go against everything America stands for as a country. If you have to say, yeah, it's for the betterment of humanity, and then say the other side is wrong for having their views that are opposite of that, then is it really for the betterment of humanity, or is it the betterment of your side of the argument? Because if it was for the betterment of humanity, you wouldn't be, again, pushing a single side of an argument. You would be pushing wait, why, hold on. You guys are this side, you guys are that side. Aren't we all supposed to be doing this together? Like, isn't this country supposed to be working as a single unit? A single successful unit? Like, why are we splitting all this up? It's not like we're splitting the load. You do this, you do that. No, you've split yourselves down the middle to argue about the same things, just with a different view. Some of you want everything. Some of you want nothing. Some of you only want some stuff. Some of you want all the stuff. And you all are literally arguing about the same thing, or well, it's not really arguing about the same thing. You pretend to argue about the same things, different things, all this stuff, but in the background of everything, you've already decided about everything. You are actually working together just to enrich yourselves and enrich your friends, and then also enrich your friends in other countries while you install your friends in other countries doing things. Again, this is a game to keep us all arguing and fighting amongst each other while they do whatever. Investment building.
See, these are the people that, like, I think they do need to bring in the military or the National Guard and then just round all of these people up and arrest them. I do. I think that's what should happen. Like, these people are obvious.
See, I mean, again, that's kind of a dangerous situation you get into when you start doing that. When you start rolling militarized personnel in, then it starts to become like to the point where if you have to roll in military, again, each state has their own reservist force, their National Guard force is supposed to protect against domestic and foreign and domestic terrorism. Yes. But the thing about it is, if you have to activate military, something has broken down so heavily within that area, city, state, village, whatever, something has broken down so much that it needs a military action. And if that's the case, like, we are losing the fight. The police shouldn't be allowing city officials, I mean, people that they know don't have their interests. Like, again, it cracks me up too, just even thinking about this whole thing. Police are like, yeah, I'm gonna fight ICE. My governor, my mayor, my police chief, they have our best interests at heart. Knowing that 6 months prior, they lobbied the police chief, the commissioner, the mayor, the governor. They lobbied everybody for more money in their budget so they can put more officers on the streets to take care of crime. But what happened? Oh, no, we don't have the budget for that. We just can't spend any more money. We Again, this is the thing that which you guys need to realize is that you'll fight for this stuff and you'll agree with all these policies, but then when it comes to, like, you're like, oh, well, we need our police vehicles are just like falling down. We've chased so many criminals that we can't keep all of our cars in service. Like we're having to chase them on bicycles at this point. Can we get just a little bit more money for in the budget? Oh no, we can't do that. Oh, we have so many projects going on. We just can't do that. We actually have to shrink your budget, and you're gonna have to figure out something, because we need to take some money from you. And then 6 months later, you're like, yeah, they're right about everything. Yeah. Fight for the mayor, fight for the governor, fight for the police chief, the commissioner. Yeah. We got to ride around on bikes chasing criminals, but they're right about everything. That's what's so hilarious about this. The same people that are fighting a good fight are also the same people that get mad when their budgets get cut. When you get given less money to be able to do your job, you still fight for them. You still stand up. Well, maybe that's why so many police officers are like, yeah, know what? These people are going to fight. They're going to stand in the way of ICE. Yeah, I can't be here no more. No, I'm going to turn in my commission as a police officer, and I'm going to go join ICE, because at least they're fighting for the people of this country. They're actually here getting people that don't belong here out of here. And they're not pushing a political agenda through the police force and through law enforcement, public service. That's what's so funny about it. It's so hilarious. Maybe one day, I mean, I like to hold out the hope and then dash it away, and then hold out hope and then dash it away. But I hold out hope that people will start realizing that there's nothing these people will say or do that will actually be for you. For me, for Asmon, for anybody. You're not a politician. You're not part of their upper echelon. So therefore, they do not care. And if they could increase the turnover rate of U.S. citizens, you better believe they would fire us all just to get in new ones. They would fire all of us to get in new ones. If they could, they would. I promise you that. And you have people like this, still nothing compared to January 6th. January 6th was an actual patriotic event. It didn't need to happen, but it was an actual patriotic event. Our election system was being subverted in real time in front of our eyes, like a damn boss fight. While this is an agitator agitating a crowd of people lobbying for illegal immigration. They are not the same. They are not the same. These people here are not patriots. They're brainwashed into thinking they are, but this third world country mentality, even J6, that's why I say J6 didn't need to happen. January 6th didn't need to happen because then it turned into a third world country thing. Because again, we allowed the politicians to turn us and revert us into a primal state and start trying to overthrow the government or overthrow ICE. We're allowing ourselves to be pushed into these directions. We need to stop. We truly need to stop allowing this to happen. If we don't, We are in a world of hurt, and by the time my generation dies, Gen Z dies, and Gen Alpha's taken over, we will be a completely robotic society. We'll be straight equilibrium. Have to take your emotion pills every day. Lest you show any signs of resistance. Like, we have to stop. We have to stop and not smell the flowers, because then that means we're still not paying attention. We need to stop and look up and pay attention. That's what we need to do. Smell the roses afterward. Stop, pay attention.
They're clearly violent. They're stabbing and attacking people. They're doing it in a mass mob. It's like 100v1. I mean, like, this is nuts. This is at City Hall? Yeah. How many 2%ers are here? A lot. Why the fuck is Trump just sitting on his ass about this? I don't know. I'm very annoyed that he is. Honestly, fucking arrest all these sickos. The police refuse to respond to this. Yeah, exactly. And this is the thing, is that...
And that's what I was saying. The police that aren't doing anything, that haven't gone over to the side of ICE, they're not choosing not to. They're not actually allowed to, because again, in order for the police to actually respond to that, they have to start going into the levels of riot control, crowd control, mass protest, crowd control. While yes, you regular uniform officers will set up perimeters and things like that, they probably already have them, which is why you see people talking about that. But again, the police are told to stand down, just observe. No type of riot control has been summoned. Otherwise, the moment they started attacking this guy, they would have rushed in and taken him out of the area. That's how that works. When the mob starts attacking people, then riot control comes in, because then it's starting to become violent. And if the violence in this setting is left unchecked, it starts to escalate. It's not a matter of if. No, it will. Violence like this, if left unchecked, escalates. Which is why they chased him all the way down, beating on him all the way until he got into the vehicle. Regardless if he's trying to burn a Quran, if he's throwing up the friggin' Nazi salute, regardless of all that, he's doing it as theater to agitate and see who essentially just signs them up for prison. Because that's what you're going to do. When you go after somebody like that, you're just signing yourself up for a delayed prison sentence. That's all this is doing. And you're doing it at the behest of your overlord, your favorite senator, your favorite politician, your favorite politician's lackey. You're doing it at the behest of somebody who does not care about you, does not care what happens to you. And if somebody was to start opening fire and killing everybody, they would turn it into a narrative and turn it into a talking point. They'd show up on the steps of the Capitol Hill with their battery-powered candles and go back into work tomorrow morning. They say they care in voice. They will never show you they actually do.
This is the way that authoritarianism works in a place like Minnesota, is that they apply the police brutally to people that they disagree with, and then they allow mob justice to deal with people who they also disagree with. So basically, they don't actually apply the law fairly. They just apply the law to people that they dislike, and they refuse to enforce the law against people that they're acting in the right. Jake Lang stole riot gear and brought it back to storm Capitol Hill on January 6th. These people might remember his name and do this to him personally. I don't think that's true. I think that there's been a lot of instances of violence, and while Jake Lang might not be a good actor, that doesn't mean that it's okay for you to go and push this guy around and stab him and say kill him. Like, I don't think that's really the reason why. I think that this is just simply a person who's opposing them and disagreeing with them, and they're doing everything that they can to attack this person and hurt them. Like, yes, obviously Jake Lang could be a bad actor, but do you want to live in a country where a mob of people can just go, there's a person peacefully protesting or peacefully saying something, demonstrating, and then a giant mob of people grabs them and then beats the shit out of them? I don't think so. I think this is a very dangerous place to be in.
It is definitely.
Yeah, I mean, this is third world behavior. Like, in no place.
And that's when it's like, huh. The part when you said this is third world behavior are the exact words I used yesterday when I came across this one. Because that's exactly what I said. This is third world behavior. This is stuff that people in other countries do when they're fighting against a tyrannical regime. But they're not fighting a tyrannical regime here. No, they're fighting a guy that was slapping bacon against a book, trying to set a book on fire. And it's another thing what I wanted to bring up about Valhalla is you can be religious. You can have your extreme views about religion, but don't go overboard with the extreme just because somebody is pushing all your buttons on it. Because Valhalla said in his little thing, because he covered the same thing, but he's like basically talking, he called Lang a fake Christian. He's actually Jewish. He purposely goes down to places like this, incites violence, or not incite. He's agitating them to incite violence against him, and he's purposely doing things. And he's showing videos of Lang trying to catch a Quran on fire, basically trying to wrap a Quran in bacon. He's just doing all this stuff. And one of my thoughts as he's going through and talking about this, I'm like, but wait, people do that stuff to the Christian and the other religion stuff all the time. You don't get all up in arms about that. So why is it that, like, and then he goes into, well, if somebody did that with a Bible, I would, you're not going to blaspheme against my, and I'm like, it's a book, dude. It's a bunch of, like, if you think your religion is so fragile that a burning of a single book is going to, like, start the downfall of your religion, and you probably need to seek some deeper faith, because that is an insane ideology. Is that you think your religion is literally based off of just that one tangible book, and anybody doing anything against, oh my God, God's gonna come down and smite us all because you did that to our book. Who cares? You know what you do when somebody burns that book? Like, oh, that's a lot of wasted money, man. It's like the number one selling book in all of time, and you're over here just burning it. Man, you just like to waste money, don't you? Like, that's how your reaction should be. It should be something more or less passive. And like, yeah, whatever, you do you. I don't agree with it, but whatever. I'm not going to, oh my God, my book. Who cares? He bought it to burn it. Like, that's his money. Like, why does it matter? Again, your religion isn't going to be crumbled by burning a book. It's not going to be crumbled by slapping it with bacon your God's not going to appear and start smiting you because he is blaspheming against your religion. If you think that's exactly how it works, then your God would have already been down here long ago, like forever ago. And even then, if your God really cared about that, your God would actually care more about what you do than what they do, because your God doesn't care about the person that doesn't believe in them. Your God actually only cares about the people that do believe in them. So if you think your God is going to reappear in IRL and say, oh my God, I'm going to start smiting him, I'm going to smite him for doing that. No, he's going to be like, hold on a second. I don't even care about what's going on there. What were you doing yesterday? Oh, I saw that. Don't you hide it now. I saw that. You thought I didn't see that? I saw it. What were you doing? I don't care what he's doing. He doesn't believe in me. You say you believe in me, but you're over here doing all this bad stuff. And I mean, I heard you use my name a couple times. So I don't care about him. I care about you. That's what your God would do. Your God wouldn't come down and instantly go toward him because he's being bad. He doesn't believe in your God. So therefore, your God doesn't care about him. Maybe one day your God will try to get him to convert. But right now, if your God is showing up in the flesh, it's probably because something that his followers are doing, or her followers, or their followers, or whatever his followers are doing. It ain't because of some random dude burning one of their books. No, it's going to be what you all are doing. And it would be for this kind of stuff. It would be for this kind of stuff. Your God would not be happy with this. How would you know what our God will be? How do you know your God wouldn't be? Tell me your God says to you, go, if you see somebody burning my book, you go out and you kill them. You do anything you can to stop them from burning that book. Point it out to me in any of your religious texts that says that you try to kill somebody that burns one of your books. Because if that was the case, then King James would have had his head cut off before he even got to push his own book, because he burned all of the original Bibles. When he rewrote his rendition of it, he had all of the originals burnt. So if burning your religious text is so bad, then people like King James wouldn't have been the holiest of holy deity kings. He would have had his head cut off by probably God himself. Again, don't let you all selves be incited by this craziness, because you're being taken out of a game that we actually need you to play. You're allowing yourselves to be taken out of a game that we need you to play. Because like I said yesterday or the other day, whatever day, it all blends together anymore. Iran needed the coverage that you all are giving this. Iran needed it. And even then, it's all another bit of distraction tactics. That's a part of the world distraction tactic. But if you wanted to throw your thoughts and prayers behind a cause, you should have been protesting for some type of response. Your chant should be, why is the internet still off? If everything's under control, why is the internet still off? Why did you turn it off to begin with? If you have nothing to hide, why'd you turn off the internet? Like, these are your chants. You should be chanting stuff about why they turned off the internet. If they didn't have anything to hide, why did they turn off the internet, and why is it still not back on if everything's under control? You all had a better fight to fight, but you're down here fighting for illegal immigrants and criminals being in our country and literally just every day, every week, every month, every year for the last decade or so. And you all still are fighting the wrong fight. It's sad. It's sad.
In a West.
And I used to say, when all the white people were doing the groveling thing, maybe embarrassed to be white. But now I'm just starting to become embarrassed to be an American. Like, it's to the point where, is this really worth any of this anymore? Like, not really. Oh my God, into my rope. No, it's like, when I hear people say things like become a passport bro, like, you know, I mean, that's not a half bad idea. Go to Japan, live there for a while, seeing what their society is in comparison to this one. Learn Japanese. You with a big titty Japanese girl. Big titty goth Japanese woman. Oh man. But no, it's like, I've never wanted to see somewhere else more than I have in the last 6 years. Like, it's not been as intense as it's been in the last 6 years. Not as much for the first few, because I didn't really know what I was in store for. But this latter three, oh, I've never wanted to go anywhere else more than I have in the last three. And it's getting just like, you're really solidifying it. You're making it harder to stay. Or harder to not stay. I want to do something else. It makes me want to do anything else that's not here. Like, I can go to Japan and make videos, video content on a 40-year-old getting started in a young bustling world like Japan or some whatever. Because I actually do want to go and teach English. I want to take my little furry demon over to Japan and teach English. And this kind of stuff here tells me that I need to start finding a way to migrate in that direction. I mean, I could walk to the end of the country, but I can't walk any further. As a matter of fact, they don't do. It'll be the shorter distance to the edge of the country isn't the way that I would be flying to Japan. And you don't even take a boat in that direction either. To fly to Japan, you actually go the opposite direction. Or no, actually, you do. You go east. It's because of how the wind travels. I guess there's wind tunnels, natural wind tunnels that airliners use. Me and my buddy had a conversation about it one time. I looked it up. It's for a wind tunnel thing. Instead of going this way, get there in moments, they go the long way because it's actually more fuel efficient, more economic. So yeah, just walk to the East Coast, and hop on a plane. I have to fly real low though. I don't have the hops like I used to. I'd be surprised if I can still dunk a basketball. All right, let's get back into this.
In first world countries, should this be acceptable? All of these people should get arrested and put in jail.
Yeah, I agree with
They're
that.
the ones that are actually being physical and aggressive and violent towards him.
Yeah, and again, that's why I agree. Because regardless if he's an agitator, he's hateful, racist, bigot, piece of garbage, he's not out committing violent acts against anybody. He's just goading you all into doing it to him. And he did very well, it seems. He accomplished his mission. And he's going to be passing that medical bill on to the people who are... If you don't think you're going to have some type of somebody showing up at your door to either serve you papers, put you in handcuffs, or both, and you were directly involved in attacking him, you should probably, yeah, should probably head on out because they're already on their way. Guarantee that dude, this was a couple days ago that this happened, and I can guarantee you he's drawing up paperwork to identify all of these people, and he's probably got it in 4K. So y'all are caught in 4K. This is just downgraded because Asmon is watching it from X.
There's no reason we have to live like this. Should not have to live like this at all.
All right, look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
Hitting the guy in the back of the head, too. That's crazy, hitting somebody in the back of the head like that. Yep.
And the funniest part is the Christmas music. Asmon's hilarious. He's funny when he brings that up. He's like the Christmas music. It's so good.
It's a two-tier system. It is. It's total two-tier system. And, like, keep in mind, Tim Walz had no problem mobilizing a National Guard and having different National Guard troops walk down residential neighborhoods, patrolling to make sure that nobody was breaking quarantine for...
Exactly. And this is another example of what I mean when I say they are not for us. A perfect example of it. He had no problem walking the National Guard and military troops up and down his streets to say, don't come outside. Don't come outside. You'll be arrested. Don't come outside.
COVID. So the idea that Tim Walz can't solve this problem and can't regulate this is insane. They're choosing not to because they want these people to terrorize their political enemies in the silence and to effectively push them into the fringes and suppress their voices. That's it. They shot paint barrels at people in their own homes? Yeah, exactly. Jake had 5 other people with him and other scuffles in the crowd, and the 5 other people were getting assaulted? Yeah, definitely. Yep. I do have to say that the Christmas music while this is happening, perfect.
Perfect.
I love it. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I wonder who's playing it though. Just some random person who's got a big old boombox, like a 1980s style boombox, just blasting Christmas music. While he's getting his ass beat. Like, what are we? This is like a damn circus, man. This is a circus. A very violent circus. Oh, gravy.
It gets worse, so I'll watch the rest of it too.
And the banging on the whatever. Like, what is this? Like, again, this is like a circus. You got a weird blowhorn sound in the background. People yell, "Kill him!" And you got somebody banging on a bongo drum with a mallet. Because it don't sound like a hand. It sounds like somebody's hitting it with a mallet. And then you got somebody walking around with a friggin' 1980s boombox blasting Christmas music. It's like it's just an out of control circus. Like somebody opened up the door and all the clowns came rolling out.
Yeah, and so things are getting absolutely insane. Let me see. Oh, this is the guy getting pulled out. Here we go.
Yeah, this was the one I was covering the other day. This is like, it's insane. It's like, if he was to pull out a gun and start shooting people, like, you couldn't do anything. But the bad thing is like, Tim Walz is, yeah, oh yeah, this dude would be in prison for the rest of his days if he pulled out a gun and tried to defend himself. Like, he's being yanked on and punched on and beat on. Yeah, if he was to pull out a gun and shoot anybody, he would probably be in prison. It wouldn't be looked at as self-defense. It would be looked at as him purposely trying to kill people. It's like, he's killing people he hates. But again, it would be that fine line of, is he purposely trying to do something so he has like that, oh, justifiable force, I felt fear for my life. It's that fine line. So it's kind of good that he wasn't carrying a firearm, but it's like, it's a double-edged sword. You can't defend yourself against a mob like this. But then it goes into the argument against the Kyle Rittenhouse thing, where, well, if you were carrying a weapon down there anyways, how do we know you didn't have the intent anyway to use the weapon? You were just trying to goad him into doing something. And that's maybe why he doesn't carry a firearm. It's so that argument can't be used if he's mobbed by people, and like, his way of pulling out a firearm and defending himself is by going into court and suing anybody who put their hands on him in 4K. Because I guarantee you all of these people would be able to be identified, especially all the ones without masks and stuff on. And the crazy thing is, this guy's wearing a press helmet, and I'm almost positive he throws swings. He's punching and hitting and kicking.
See what they grabbed the guy. You see him all. Oh my God! Look, you know what? You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of a zombie movie. It does. This is like The Walking Dead. Oh my God.
He's not wrong.
Why is this allowed to happen?
It does look like The Walking Dead.
Is because the people that run the government there agree with these people that are out in the streets being violent, so they refuse to actually put police on the ground to stop them from doing this. Basically, they're given free rein to terrorize the other populations of people that disagree with them, and the government just turns a blind eye to it. And this is the way that authoritarianism is wielded, in a way that is passive. So, being authoritarian can happen in two different ways. Number one, you can enforce the rules like brutally, and number two, you can enforce the rules unequally. So what I mean by that is that if one group of people is getting arrested, and like, what do you think the chances are that the Minnesota police would all be there and the National Guard would all be there shutting this down if this was one person who was protesting against ICE and it was a huge ICE protest and people were all in favor of ICE? I think that they'd instantly have these people over there, right? They'd totally be doing this. This is exactly what happened with the Cultural Revolution in China. Police should be ashamed of themselves. Well, some of the police that are part of Minnesota have roached out and decided to join ICE. Like 23, I think the number was like 23 police officers that were part of the Minnesota police force.
And see, I don't agree with that. When we use the term like roached out, to me, it sounds like they scurried away. They couldn't handle it and scurried away. No, they rightfully so. They didn't agree with these sanctuary policies, these allowing illegals to take advantage of our citizen policies. And why would they work for a police force that enables that when they can justifiably go the other way and be the people that are enforcing what they want taken care of? So that's where I don't agree with that. And I'm going to look up that. What does it mean if someone says someone roached out? It's going to look for the internet shit. Roached out, or to roach out, generally means running away from a difficult situation or abandoning a fight when things get too challenging. And it's exactly it's almost verbatim of what I just said. So yeah, I don't believe that. I would be more inclined to side with them, because why would you want to defend policies you don't agree with? Why would you defend that? Why would you be okay with continually just going along with that and being a party to it, when you can go the opposite direction? Literally, you can take all that law enforcement experience and turn it into the policies that you agree with. So to me, it's not roaching out. It's making a choice to not to continue to follow the policies you don't agree with and go to follow the policies you agree with. Whether you see them as good or bad, or whether you see which side is good and which side is bad, is irrelevant. It's the fact that somebody held true to their own values and didn't falter. Didn't falter for a paycheck. Didn't falter because, well, maybe one day. You can't expect people to hold out hope. You can't. Especially when it's like they'll ask him to resign, but he'll be voted right back into power by these same people. He'll be voted right back into the governorship. Oh, well, he's not anymore. He's not running again because he knows that he's toast. He knows he's cooked, not just in politics, but when it comes down to it, he's going to be investigated for all the fraud stuff, and it's going to be hard for him to explain it all away. Because allegedly, he has been a party to it all. He is the reason the fraud started, exists, and has continued to exist in Minnesota. So I'd say that's a warning to all of these, which is what it's funny. Maybe that's why DeWine is pushing for whoever to take up his mantle, because he's wanting his fraud and all his political crimes to stay hidden. I wouldn't put it past him. And he looks like he's been committing crimes. But that's my opinion.
Resigned, and 18 of those police officers decided to join ICE.
Yeah, I don't agree with that statement. But again, he's got to kind of play into his base. So
It's up to 80 now. I'm not surprised. I'm really not. Fuck Zio, he's inciting hate. That's fine. If he wants to incite hate, that's totally up to him. It's his First Amendment right. You know, we live in a country where people like the KKK and the Nazis can go out and have rallies. The same as communists can go out and have rallies. And the moment that you lose that, then you don't have freedom of speech anymore. The problem isn't that people have viewpoints that you disagree with. That's not an issue. The problem is whenever they're acting on it and they're committing violence.
Yep.
That's it. Selective law enforcement is worse than no laws? Yeah, exactly.
That right there. Like, again, it's what I was saying yesterday. Like, don't say stuff with no ability, no knowledge, no context, or even understanding of what you're saying. You're calling all of this fascism and Nazism and Gestapo and bringing back Hitler. Oh, America, Hitler. No. I showed you where the new Nazi regime is. I showed you where it is. And remember, that regime's been in power for 47, like 40 plus years. 1979 they came into power, so that's 21, 26, 47 years. Yeah, so for 47 years, that regime has, like, obviously terrorizes people. Millions of people don't go protesting because they like their government. And it's like, it was one of those things. It was a buildup of over time. They've seen how awful their government has become, and it's like it took their government creating so many enemies that they started sanctioning them. And then they're powerful enemies too. It's not like some BS rando country who puts a sanction in place and it's not really going to do anything. No, they're getting sanctioned by large countries. And it starts to affect their people. And then instead of their country's government doing the right thing and repairing some of those relationships, like, look, we're sorry for doing that. They're like, no, we're going to take it out on our people. Because they're already not good to their people. And yes, I don't care what any of their political leaders say. Those people don't have the ability to speak freely. Those people don't have the ability to criticize anything. I pulled it up on Google and on ChatGPT. And while, yes, they can get it wrong, both of them aren't going to get it wrong simultaneously. And in fact, they almost echoed the exact same thing. Like they were talking to each other when I asked the question. So no, that government isn't good for those people. So again, instead of fighting actual Nazism, actual fascism, standing up for that, you're wanting to pretend like ICE is fascism. Get a clue, folks. Get a clue. You have no idea of anything that's going on. Fucking JanSport backpack full of spray paint and rocks.
Look at them all. They're going crazy.
I serve Nazis.
So ignorant.
Oh my God! Building up on the right is I think the courthouse. I don't know about that. Odds on Trump sending
Yeah.
troops.
And that right there, like, come on. I don't. You again. You don't have to agree with them. You don't have to. You can actually absolutely not like the guy at all. But the fact that he has to defend himself from people throwing things at his face.
Oh, he's over there. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to happen. I think they're just letting it happen. Where the hell are the police? Nowhere. The police are not being used because they want to let it happen. They're choosing to let this happen.
Exactly.
That's the reason why. They're all wearing masks? Well, yeah, because they're violently attacking somebody. That's the reason why. I mean, of course they're wearing masks. I mean, I'd wear a mask too if I was doing this.
But what they don't understand is you can, yes, you can wear a mask, but there's so much footage of things now that your movements can be tracked. Ask the guy that murdered the Tepe, Spencer and Monique Tepe. Ask him. You couldn't see his face, but they tracked him. All of these people can be, all of their movements can be tracked. If something, put it this way, if something really bad was to happen to that guy, all of those people would be in handcuffs. Right now, it's going to be his resources and the money he has to try to track all those people, which he can do it. It's not hard. You'd have to just file a lot of video retrieval footage. You just have to basically file a bunch of paperwork to get footage from a lot of stores, a lot of places in the area. It would take a lot of basically like the Boston bombing amount of resources to track the movements of these people. And it's ultimately just the ones that cause the most damage. The ones that split his head open, the ones that were punching him in the face. Because that stuff causes internal damage. So, wholeheartedly, those masks, if you think you're hiding, you are not. The reason ICE and them, they wear their masks is because a regular person is going to really have access to all that technology. Well, he won't have access. Put it this way, his lawyers can get access to a lot. Especially if they're filing motions against people. His lawyer can get access to a lot because it's based on an investigation and a case. So, yeah. Somebody that's trying to break the law and impede ICE, they're not going to be able to gain access to footage that's otherwise going to be able to track ICE's movements to be able to otherwise dox them, cause them harm. You just have what you guys have right now. People following them around and submitting the locations back to your Signal chat, because we all know that's where y'all chatting at. You're chatting in Signal. You already know your Discord chats have been compromised. Your Facebook Messenger chats are compromised. Your X messages are. Your overnet messaging is compromised. So it's time to go to Signal. I bet you $1 million they're all chatting on a thing on Signal. But this one's not a guarantee or a fact. It's probably called Soros's playbook. With money signs all around. It's like one of those recruiting message feeds. The Soros playbook is looking for bright-eyed and bushy-tailed volunteers to go down and protest ICE. Do you have what it takes to go and stand in the middle of the road and impede vehicle movement for as long as it takes? Then we want you. Again, it's a circus, man. It's a circus.
Anyway, let's see if I can find a few more of the comments about this, because some of the other things that have been going on are just fucking insane. So yeah, this guy was, I think, stabbed. Let me see if I can find more evidence of this too, because it's just so fucking deranged. And I know that there are some people that are like defending it, saying that like this guy is like an agitator, he's somehow like a problem boy or whatever. I don't think that you should do that. I think that's a really, really bad mindset to have, because the moment that you start justifying this and saying that, you know, violently attacking a person like this, let me see if I can find it. Jake Lang. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You shouldn't be doing this. And so, oh no, that's not it. And protester tackle. I'm trying to click on this and find it. So here we go again. There's another one. Neo-Nazi Jake Lang screams about need for race war and a megaphone.
You see his mouth was all busted open too.
You shouldn't be doing this. And so, oh no, that's not it. And protester tackle. I'm trying to click on this and find it. So here we go again. There's another.
His mouth is busted open there. So when he opens it, you can see his tongue is the mouth area is very red. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, he's got blood in his mouth for sure. Again, regardless if he's an agitator or not, we can't revert ourselves to these primal instincts. We can't do this. We're no different than the countries that you guys like to meme and make fun of and say you're so much better than. You're looking worse.
Jake Lang screams about need for race war and a megaphone, then saved by a mob of white people by a black man. Let me see if I find it.
Let him go. Hey, go, bro. Go. Just go. Just go.
Yep.
Let him go, y'all. Let him go.
You see what? Jesus. 1,000 versus 1? Exactly.
they got a Frozen song playing in the background.
Boy, there's blood all over him. Oh my God. Look at all this. Yep. Holy shit. Holy shit. It's literally a mob. It's an actual mob. Wow.
This is like, I think he said it. This is like the Salem witch trial stuff. Like the pitchforks. Taking him and just ready to put him on trial to death for being a witch. I think he says it. I watched some of this video and then I went and was cooking and let it play and I was listening to it. And I think I heard him say that.
Exactly. You've got told the mayor Frey, he told MPD to stand down, and rage baited to
These Frey and Walls is being investigated. Trump's already said it. He's gonna have the Department of Justice investigate them for the fraud stuff. And then Frey jumped right on X like this is a failed attempt at defending himself. What you on, man? Eat the walls, homie. Okay. Here, play with this. Play with this. He gets into that ornery mood and mode around this time. I am over the time that I've really wanted to go, but I do want to.
hard. Well, the thing is that if you are being violent and you're attacking somebody who's peacefully demonstrating something, you are the problem. It doesn't matter whether that thing is making you mad or not. Like, for example, if there's somebody who is, you know, the KKK and they're doing a protest or a demonstration, then they have every right to do that. But the problem is that you can't take away somebody's First Amendment right just because you disagree with what they're saying. If you could do that, then everybody would be doing this all the time. Like, it's really just that simple. And yeah, these liberals are real Nazis. I think these people behave more like Nazis than the people that they're opposing. I think that's true. I think they're the ones that are creating their own secret police. They're trying to document everybody. They're trying to arrest them. They're destroying property. They're violent. I do. I think that they're doing all the things that they're criticizing Nazis and the ICE for doing. They're doing it all themselves. And it goes back to what I've said before many times, is that these people don't actually have any values. The only value that they really have is people that they're effectively taking. All they want to do is consolidate power and do that to somebody else. Antifa is SA and SS. They're using the same as them. I don't know about that. Trump's degree gave hard men a license to square off with soft men. He's even paying them to do it. Cathartic cinema. I don't know really what this is. This might be something else. And so a black man stood next to Jake Lang while he's getting hit with water balloons. What's this?
I don't know how, I just can, right? Divine entity. Now, at the end of the day, my job.
Way to be fucking brave and trying to fucking do something.
Yeah, my job, you know, my purpose on earth, and my spirit told me, I'm the son of God, right? A lot of people gonna think I'm lying, and I just showed you again. It shows you again that I don't have to lie, but I move off love and unity, and that's how Jesus walked. If y'all Christians, that's how Yahweh walked. If y'all Africans and y'all roots, Yahweh walked just showing love regardless of what somebody did to you.
Yeah, it's like you can't go and stab somebody because they disagree with you. Like, it sounds crazy, but it's pretty fucking obvious. They thought Jake had been attacked by ICE, told him to get out, which side he was on. Okay, right? And this is, again, a person who picked up Jake Lang as he was being attacked was a transgender DACA recipient. He thought Jake had been attacked by ICE. They kicked him out of the car a block away after asking which side he was on. And this is it. This is what these people do. And so, yeah, he said, Yahweh, stone him. I don't know about that. Violence doesn't help anybody. Well, I think that eventually what's going to happen is that somebody is going to start shooting, or there's going to be a much larger scale of violence. And I think that
Holy shit. I didn't even hear that. I did not hear that the first time. That is exactly what I said.
Really, when you don't have police that are holding people accountable for being violent and aggressive, what happens instead of that is that the public goes out there and does it themselves. I think that there's a good chance that we could see a bombing, we could see a shooting, we could see somebody driving a car through one of these crowds. I think that there's a very, very high probability that that's coming up really soon. I do.
Yep.
I think it's coming up really, really soon. And the reason why is because they've allowed it to escalate to this level. They've allowed it to, basically, they've allowed them to shut down roads. They've allowed them to start random fires. They've allowed them to obstruct federal law enforcement. They've allowed them to, get into the street. They've allowed them to destroy property. Now they're allowing them to do mass, like fucking vigilante violence on like one individual person. I think that it's a very, very high probability that this happens because I've never seen something like this ever de-escalate naturally. Like, I don't think something like this generally burns out. Or sorry, it doesn't fade away, it burns out. So, like, there's going to have to be something that happens that is going to be extreme that will stop this from happening. Streets of Minneapolis look like a war zone. It's open season on conservatives and ICE.
Yeah, like I said, he keeps getting right up to it, but he's not saying... He's talking about just the Minnesota side. Just the law enforcement on the Minnesota side. The law enforcement on the Minnesota side that are allowing this to happen are being told so by the police, who are being told so, or by the leadership. The police are being told to stand down by the leadership. The leadership are being told to stand down, to tell them to stand down by the officials. And the officials aren't just doing their own thing. They're being told by their higher authority, the federal government, to tell the police chiefs and the leadership of the law enforcement to stand down. It is being told in a chain of command. That's how it works. The police just don't decide to do what the police want to do. The governor doesn't decide to do what the governor is going to do. They all work in a chain of command, and if you think that they don't, you probably should do some studying. Because that's how politics works. It works in a chain of command. So again, he keeps getting right up to it, but he's still he gets rerouted in another direction. I called that already. You're late, Davy boy, Davy Broy. But again, this is all happening in a chain of command. It's not just happening on the police level, the police leadership level, and the governor level. It goes higher. I don't know how high it does go, but there's no way that the federal government isn't heavily handed into all this. They have agendas that they got to get through. I mean, it's all agendavized. All of this is agendavized. It's just an agenda. It's incentivized. It's all incentivized. That's their agenda. Their agenda is the incentives they get from creating and keeping all this going. This is its own war machine. This is the new war machine. Or at least the American war machine within our own borders, since it's a little bit harder for us to be thrown into a civil war. Keeping these little skirmishes going, keeping these small little wars going. This is the new shit right here. This is what we need to stop doing. We need to stop allowing ourselves to be pushed into some primal instinct and whatever. Let ICE get the illegal immigrants out, protest them, stop attacking people, stop impeding them. You can stand on the side of the roads and say ICE needs to go home, ICE shouldn't be here. but don't get in their way. Don't cause problems. Don't allow these politicians to push you into a situation that's going to otherwise have irreversible consequences and damage, because that's what's going to happen. They're going to push you and allow you to radicalize yourself right into something you won't have control over and you won't be able to undo. So we need to stop. We need to stop this stuff. And again, it's not stop for the right side, stop for the left side. No, stop for humanity. For the sake of humanity, stop. That's what it is. For the sake of your children's future, and because you're not fighting for your children's future, you're fighting for a politician or a billionaire or a corporate entity's future. And sooner you all will figure that out, and the sooner you'll stop fighting about stuff. Stop doing this stuff. Allow yourself to be pushed into it. But I need to get some sleep. I got class and stuff tomorrow, and I gotta figure out the bus ride situation. So until then, I'll have class until 4, and it's going to take some time taking the bus home. So I'll probably be going live after that. Because tomorrow's class is just biology, and it's most likely just going to be some BS reading and answering some dumb questions. I can already guarantee that's what it's going to be, because the lab the lab part of the class will be doing the lab stuff, and we'll probably be given a lab book because it's environmental biology. That could be a really fun, but it's science, so it's gonna have its fun. I love me some good old organic science, old school, true to form science. Hopefully, it doesn't suck, because that's what's gonna suck if they tried to make it too new school, brain dead, short form content for children. I'm just hoping that's not what it is. But I do get to play into the hand of the theater kids are running the world. Not really. I don't run shit. But my Tuesday class is a theater class. And one of my classes on Wednesday, since I only have a biology lab on Mondays, Wednesday, the lab time slot is taken up by an audio engineering class. It's a music class. I get to figure out all my audio problems that I've been failing at for some part of a handful of years. And then I have my online communications class, and then in May I graduate with my degree in communications, and then next fall I'll be transferring to Ohio State to further it for a bachelor's degree, because that's what I'm going to use, hopefully, to go to Japan and teach English, because I really want to get out of America just to see something else, just to be part of something else, not to have my mind yanked back and forth by politics and politicians that otherwise just want me to do this stuff. Either want me to be one of these people, or be him, or die like him. Because the hero always dies in the end, and he would be the hero. It's a good thing. He's doing a good thing, standing between chaos and otherwise not. Whether he's agitating the chaos or not, he's not out here being violent. He's out here using the expression that was given to him. And when people have to stand between this, these are the people that suffer the most. So don't be this. Don't feel like you have to be this, because it's going to put a lot of people in this situation. So until tomorrow, peace out, Girl Scout.